Hi, it's the Carter Man, and I'm wearing my happy shirt, my red kind of Caribbean like happy shirt today, uh, because after yesterday's post that was so depressing, my Scrooge Marley post about I can give you no hope, I thought, well, I better say something nice and a little upbeat today, so I am, and here it is: the BRICS nation meeting, now taking place, I think it's in South Africa, is going to spell the end of US dollar hegemony. Okay? Now, some of you might be saying, how in the heck is that good news? It's going to lessen the value of the dollar in my pocket. Actually, not so much. Um, it may have an impact on people like Bill Gates and BlackRock and Zuckerberg and these people because of their close ties with the government and their manipulating currencies and such, but not so much for you. I mean, you're still going to make a living and and eke out a living, and the dollar actually suffering at the hands of other currencies is not going to be to your disadvantage. It's going to be to your advantage, and I'll tell you why. Because with the dollar lessening in value, the power of the federal government is going to plummet along with it. Now, when I say lessen in value, I'm not saying tomorrow you're going to wake up and the dollar is going to be in the dustbin of history. It's going to take a little longer than that, but not as long as a lot of economists are predicting. You know, they're saying, well, it'll be 10 years. No, you're going to start seeing the effects in a year or two. As Russia, China, India, all the BRICS nations, Saudi Arabia is going to join in. Saudi Arabia has already just devastated the petrodollar, saying, no, we will trade another currency now, which is brand new and which is very, very good. The dollar is a reserve currency. It's not going to be the reserve currency in another 2 years or so, two, maybe three. That's my prediction. Don't forget, it wasn't always a reserve currency. The British pound was a reserve currency until the Suez Crisis, and then it shifted over. And as empires fall, they lose that reserve currency status, and that's where we are. Now, the bright side of that is as these other nations emerge, they're going to be able to strengthen their own economies, offer more goods for lower prices, and they're not going to have to worry about the United States bludgeoning them with a strong U.S. dollar. Those days started to end when that idiot Biden did his sanctions against Russia. They didn't work. They didn't work. And it showed that the emperor had no clothes, and his dollar didn't have near the value that he pretended it did. All right. It's going to be the same with China, these other nations, the nations of Central America. They will be able to emerge now without being bludgeoned by the U.S. dollar, okay? They have had to do whatever the U.S. government said because the dependency they should never allow themselves to fall into. So the CIA moved in, took over governments, installed drug cartels. Yes, I did say that, installed drug cartels. Never forget who helped Manuel Zelaya in Honduras and then tried to maintain him in power when the Honduran people rightly threw him out. Never forget who maintained the Somozas in power. And then, thank God, Ortega not only threw him out, he blew him up. And that was the end of that. But look at the nations down there. As they escape from the tyranny of the U.S. dollar, you're going to see them producing more goods, sending more goods up here at a cheaper price, and you're going to find the lifestyle down there more appealing. And if I were you, I'm going to say it right now, look to Nicaragua. I've already told you, my wife and I already own a beautiful beach home in Honduras, and we're looking to buy in Nicaragua. Don't forget, Nicaragua has lower crime than the U.S. It has no drug problem. The people there, their medical system is fantastic. What up here would cost you $10,000 cost you literally, I'm not making this up, of under $100 down there, and it's top flight medical care, beautiful country, friendly people, and a lot more freedom. When the plague was imposed on the United States, Ortega told his people, you know, I'm not forcing you to wear a mask. I'm not forcing you to take shots. I'm not your grandfather. You're free people. So it's a very nice country. Take a look there. It's going to emerge even further as the dollar weakens. Okay, so I'm not saying you should trade in your dollars for lempiras, the Honduran currency, tonight, but I am telling you that as the U.S. government is weakened by a weakened dollar, you are going to be freer, because right now the government has all the power, and it can dictate and does dictate every move you make, every thought you have, every word you write. But what happens when the federal government can no longer afford a massive police state like it has now? More freedom for you. What happens when it can no longer afford to prop up a welfare system that allows crime to run rampant in the streets? A lot of Americans much safer than they are today, because that crime is being propped up by a government that hands money willy-nilly to the criminals, okay? So that's my happy talk for today. And again, some of you may be saying, well, I'm not sure it is that happy. Trust me, a weakened U.S. dollar means a weakened U.S. government, which is better for every other country in the world and for every American who wants to once again be allowed to breathe free without an oppressive government having the wherewithal to take away that freedom, and use the various agencies throughout government, a bloated government, which will then shrink in size, use those agencies to oppress you. Being into that. So that's my happy talk for today. Have a great evening.